Hello and welcome back to another one of our opera shots from Iford Arts. And today I'm delighted to welcome the wonderful Welsh mezzo-soprano Angharad Lyddon, one of the Iford Arts new generation artists from 2018. Today she'll be singing for us one of opera's most iconic characters, the hedonistic, hot-tempered, love-struck femme fatale Carmen. We're in Act 1 and the opera opens as Carmen and her fellow cigarette factory workers stream out after a long day into the sun. We have a lot of interest from local young men who surround them and flirt with the ladies, but Carmen explains that her heart cannot be tied down with this unforgettable habanera. She starts, love is a rebellious bird that no one can tame. Angharad, thanks so much. It's great to hear you sing after all this time. I'm going to spare your blushes a little and tell our audience a bit about you. Graduate of the Royal Academy of Music, Glyndebourne Jerwood Young Artist, Samling Artist. You made your professional debut in 2015 at English National Opera. And you not only represented Wales in Cardiff Singer of the World last year, but you're also finalist in the Song Prize. So good goodness me, having done all that, how have you adjusted being cooped up at home every day?
I know. Well, so Cardiff Singer was in June last year, and sort of off the back of that, lots of lovely projects came my way for this summer. But yeah, we got through March and the emails just kept coming, and unfortunately things just kept getting cancelled, or rather I would say postponed, which is quite nice because we're hoping that lots of the lovely projects will happen next year. So I'm really looking forward to that.
It's been very interesting for me suddenly to be having the time to think about other things and think about how lucky we are as artists to do what we do, and how starved we feel when we can't do what we do. I mean, have you used the time to, I don't know, think about how you go about learning roles, or have you been able to practice or learn new repertoire at all?
Well, I think it was very hard when it all happened. I sort of took a few weeks off because there was like a little grieving process, I think, because everything started to get cancelled, and I realised that the amazing summer that I had planned wasn't going to happen. I sort of took a bit of time off from singing. I didn't really feel like singing. It just felt a bit strange. And my boyfriend is a cricketer, and he was keeping up his training. And so I ended up basically going and doing training sessions for 6 days a week with him, which is something I would never normally do. People who know me know that I hate running. I hate that kind of stuff. I'm more like a yoga person. So to be doing all of this crazy fitness with him was really different, but it was great because it got me outside, out of the house. It stopped me thinking about the negatives. And yeah, I got a bit fitter, which was nice.
It is amazing, isn't it, when we suddenly can't be in our musical bubbles anymore. I found that even doing the habanera with you, that not being in the same room, not feeling the vibrations, and not many people have spoken about how we do these. I mean, I record the accompaniment, and then you have to karaoke along, and it's not an easy thing to do. And I've been amazed by some videos of artists putting together many multi-track things, and it's good up to a point, isn't it? But it certainly can't replace being together in the same room and responding to what we're doing. How did you find having to sing to a track? Because it's something that in the music theatre world they have to do quite a lot, but in the opera world it's something we don't have to do at all.
Yeah, it was good in some ways because it meant, especially with the habanera, it's so easy to pull it around, and especially with a pianist, and a pianist as lovely as you, Ollie, that follows. So it was really nice to kind of have that metronomic feel to it that meant that I couldn't use my bad habits. But things like the little pause at the end, well, you've decided how long that is for me. So I've got to sort of mathematically work out how long am I allowed to hold this note for before I have to do the finish.
I'm thinking back as to when we last worked together. It was a couple of years ago now, and I said in my intro that we were very pleased that you're such an experienced singer to come to Iford, and you took part in our one of our big education programs, which is the Gingerbread education program, where I suppose from Iford's aim and ambition is to inspire the next generation with opera and music. And the culmination of the project, after a few days at Wiltshire Music Centre, where I think over 200 children got involved, was to take a promenaded performance into a wood, into the hidden woods near Bath. Did you have any idea what you were in for?
Not really, but I was really excited. I love these kinds of projects. I love being a part of them. Doing music in weird and wonderful venues. I suppose growing up in North Wales, I had an idea of what it would be like to be in the woods for it. But it turned out so much better than I could have imagined. The trees there, I don't know how it works sort of with the physics and acoustics of it, but it was the most amazing acoustic. But all the little branches of all the trees that were sort of shading over the top of us gave us a bit of an acoustic. So it didn't feel like you were just singing into the air. You kind of felt like you were in these little settings. We had a few different places in the woods. We had the camp round by the campfire, which was actually on during the performance, which was a really fun challenge. Don't fall in the fire. And then some of the other bits where Hansel and Gretel are lost in the woods. It was lovely, and walking in and out of the children as they're sitting on the floor. It was a fantastic experience. I really enjoyed it.
And of course, the children sang at the end, didn't they? So the children had actually learnt music from Hansel and Gretel, and right at the end, after a few days of learning and composing opera based around the piece, they could actually join in and sing with you, and it was a very moving experience. And they were very moved when they saw the gingerbread be given to them, all handed out. And also, I mean, when I was planning it, I was inspired by it, by a labyrinthine, I think it's the world's largest labyrinthine wood on Samsø, which is an island off Copenhagen, that Mike Bracegirdle and Lisa Christensen had an idea to stage the piece. I was thinking how we could possibly accompany the singers when they're outside. You can't have a string quartet moving music stands and chairs around. And I knew of a wonderful button accordionist, Milos, who we dressed up as was it a badger? Was Milos a badger?
Milos was a squirrel, and he had a life-size, I mean, as if a squirrel with the size of a person, tail. It was incredible. And Michael Waldron, the conductor, he was dressed as a badger with a bowler hat. This
coming summer, we're extending the project for a summer activity-based workshops for children and their mums and dads, and it's been great to bring it back. So it was just so much fun, and I enjoyed listening to it hugely. I remember as part of that year that we spent 3 or 4 days together at Cooper Hall in Frome under the wonderful guidance of Morag McLaren, and that was a sort of a few days where singing wasn't the most important thing. And I suppose as a singer, do you get many opportunities to not worry about singing, actually focus on other things?
That workshop, that weekend, was just one of the most amazing things that I've ever been a part of. I mean, I have to be honest, I've been out of music college for maybe a year, and I was finding it quite hard. I was sort of feeling a bit negative about the industry and about singing and, all the things that come with it. And when I went to that workshop, I mean, Morag, she totally inspired me to love again everything that I loved about singing, which is I got started with singing with musical theatre. And so what I love is I love everything that goes into making theatre. I love the theatricality. I love the acting. I love the telling of the stories. I love all of those kinds of things. And that's what she brought out. She brought that back out in me. And I didn't have to worry about my singing technique and making pretty noises and all of those kinds of things that I felt I really focused on when I was at music college. And she just really got back in tune with why I loved and why I do love singing and performing. So it was an amazing weekend.
I mentioned earlier that you represented Wales in Cardiff Sing of the World, and well, I suppose being Welsh, it must be an amazing thing to sing on your home turf at St David's Hall.
Yeah, I mean, I'm North Walian, so not my neck of the woods. Anybody who knows Wales is you basically got to go to England to get back into South Wales. So over the past few years, I've gotten to know Cardiff really well and sung at St David's Hall a couple of times. And what's really unique about the Welsh entry for Cardiff Singer of the World is that we have a competition to find out who that Welsh entry will be, rather than going through the full audition process like everybody else does. And I did that competition while I was working at Iford in 2018.
Oh yes, I remember that. Didn't you record something with Charlie Kilpatrick in Bath as an audition?
We did. Well, that was one of the amazing things that Iford offered as part of their New Generation Artist Programme, is not only this wonderful weekend with Morag, but we had the opportunity to do a really professional recording at Cooper Hall. And I chose Wie du warst, wie du bist from Der Rosenkavalier, which I sang in Cardiff, and which I sang at this competition. So yeah, I went into the competition, the Welsh Singer Showcase, we call it. I went into that sort of with no expectations, just thinking, what a great gig. I'm here at St David's Hall. I've got BBC Now behind me. I'm just going to sing my favourite arias and I'm going to really enjoy this. And then when they called my name and said that I'd won, and that would mean that I will be representing Wales, it was literally a dream come true. I mean, I cried so much, I couldn't believe it. Because ever since I started taking singing seriously, when I was about 15, 16, it's been an ambition of mine. It's been something I wanted to do, you know, represent Wales, Cardiff Singer of the World. And I did it, and it was amazing. And I got to the Song Prize final, and I just couldn't have wished for a better experience. It was amazing.
Well, I've got to say, when I watched it, you have an amazing ability to make one want to listen, which is a rare gift. And I have to admit, I struggle a bit with competitive music making. I quite get this is an amazing opportunity to be seen and heard, and you sang with BBC Now, and you're on the radio. But did you find the competitive nature disturbing, or did you actually enjoy the fact that you were with lots of other people making music, and if you won, it would just be a bonus?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't really like competitions either, if I'm honest. I haven't entered many of them in my career, because of that I don't like the competitive feeling. But this competition, Cardiff Singer, is so different because David Jackson, who runs it, and his amazing team, they put in so much effort to look after you. So they put you all up in a hotel together. There's people who do your hair and makeup, people who drive you to and from rehearsals, people who take your whatever you're going to wear that evening, and they take it and they go and press it and make sure it looks beautiful. And basically all these things that you could get stressed about, which we normally do when we're, you know, schlepping about from gig to gig, they take away all of those extraneous things, and you're literally there to just enjoy your time there. They really want you to enjoy your time there, and I really did. It was very intense, especially being the Welsh entrant. There was a lot of like interviews and bits and bobs you have to do for camera, which was really weird. It was like the X Factor or something.
And it's not every day that you step onto a stage being watched by millions of people around the world, and it's being broadcast live and on the radio, and you're being adjudicated by some amazing singers and industry producers.
Absolutely. And I remember before I went, I mean, it is a really good job, and having the home advantage is that I had sung at St David's Hall before. Because just before I went on stage, a camera was literally there in my face recording me before I went on to try and get a pre, and I was like, oh my God, if I didn't know this stage and know this orchestra and just know the process of this whole thing, I think that would have really freaked me out. And I just closed my eyes and I went somewhere else. And then I just was like, the camera doesn't exist.
You came across brilliantly well. And I suppose, like the Welsh rugby team, you had the hopes of the nation on your shoulders, but you did it with absolute aplomb. Now, am I right in thinking that as a finalist in the Song Prize, you were given a Wigmore Hall recital date, and it's coming up on the 22nd of November?
It is. It's in November. And so I've got everything crossed that it's going to happen. Because again, I've sung at the Wigmore as part of other sort of showcases. I was lucky enough when I was at the Royal Academy of Music, I was part of their Song Circle programme, and they pick a few lucky people to sing at Wigmore Hall every year. So I've been very lucky to have sung there before, but to have my own recital and to work with Llŷr Williams again, I really hope it happens.
Well, I really hope it goes ahead. The programme's going to include music by Gounod, Schubert, Schumann, and also the Venezuelan-born French composer Reynaldo Hahn, and you're singing one of my favourite songs, L'heure exquise.
Yeah, L'heure exquise is just, it's one of those songs, it brings, time stops when you sing that song, I think. It's just an absolute beautiful, beautiful piece.
It's so hard, isn't it? Because it's such a still, crystalline piece. and it requires such poise. Yeah, I really hope that you manage to get the recital and this awful pandemic at the moment calms down a little bit by it's the 22nd of November, isn't it?
Yeah, Sunday. It's a Sunday recital at 3 p.m. It's about an hour long. Lots of my favourite pieces, some of the stuff I sang in Cardiff, and a few other Welsh treats in there as well. So yes, if you're available and it happens.
I really hope to be there. Just to be part of an audience again is something I've really missed. And actually, we don't need to wait until the 22nd of November to hear you again, because we're going to hear you again now from St David's Hall in Cardiff, singing the Segedie from Bizet's Carmen as your entry in Cardiff Singer of the World. I should just quickly get in that the Iford Arts audiences can also look forward to a new production of Carmen next year, directed by James Hurley, from the Geodesic Dome in Belcombe Court. Angharad, thanks so much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me, and lovely to see you.
Chez mon ami la spastia, girito sei la seghe di boire di Monsagnia. Giri chez mon ami la spastia. Oui, mais tout de cela s'ennuie, et les vrais plaisirs sont à deux. Donc pour me tenir compagnie, j'emmènerai mon amour. Mon amoureux, il est au diable. Je l'ai mis à la portière. Mon pauvre cœur, très consolable. Mon cœur est libre comme un air. J'ai des galons à la douzaine, mais ils ne sont pas amaigris. Voici le feu de la semaine qui va m'aimer, je l'aimerai. Qui veut mon âme aller t'apprendre, vous arrivez au bon moment. Je ne garde le temps d'attendre, car avec mon nouvel amant, près du bord du ciel,